Welcome back, beautiful soul. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Today we're embarking on a journey back in time to uncover one of the most intriguing and controversial philosophies in history. Imagine a life where every decision, every action is guided by one simple question: does this make me happy? No rules, no boundaries, only the relentless pursuit of pleasure. This philosophy, known as hedonism, promises an endless supply of enjoyment, indulgence, and even power. But as tempting as this lifestyle sounds, what if there's more to the story? What if the pursuit of endless pleasure leads not to fulfillment, but to emptiness? This isn't just a history lesson, it's a deep dive into the human condition, exploring the desires that drive us all. We'll peel back the layers of hedonism, from its ancient roots in Greece to its impact on modern society. Along the way, we'll uncover why this seemingly simple philosophy can be both alluring and dangerous. We'll look at real stories, both ancient and modern, to understand the true cost of chasing pleasure without limits. So buckle up, because this journey might just change the way you think about happiness. Our story begins in ancient Greece, a land of philosophers and thinkers who laid the foundation for Western thought. Among them was Aristippus of Cyrene, a student of Socrates. Unlike his teacher, who focused on abstract concepts like justice and virtue, Aristippus had a different focus: pleasure. For him, the goal of life was simple: maximize pleasure and minimize pain. This idea formed the basis of what he called ethical hedonism. But Aristippus wasn't alone in his beliefs. Similar ideas can be found in other ancient cultures. In Babylon, the Epic of Gilgamesh glorified feasting, dancing, and revelry as the ultimate pursuits. In ancient India, the Charvaka school of philosophy argued that material wealth and sensory pleasure were the only rational goals for a wise person. These thinkers saw pleasure not just as a part of life, but as its highest good. However, Aristippus added a unique twist. He believed that while pleasure was the ultimate goal, it needed to be pursued with wisdom and self-retreat. He famously said, "I possess, I am not possessed." In other words, we should enjoy life's pleasures without becoming enslaved by them. But here's the challenge: maintaining that balance is easier said than done. Think about it. The line between enjoying pleasure and being controlled by it is razor thin. One moment, you're savoring a delicious meal. The next, you're overeating to the point of discomfort. One moment, you're enjoying a glass of wine. The next, you're dependent on it to relax. This is why hedonism has often been seen as dangerous. The allure of endless pleasure is powerful, but it comes with a cost. When you give in to every desire, you risk losing control. And once you lose control, you're no longer the one possessing pleasure. Pleasure possesses you. This is the dark side of hedonism that ancient philosophers warned about. One of the most powerful warnings about the dangers of unchecked pleasure comes from Greek mythology. In Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus and his men encounter the Lotus Eaters. When they arrive on the island, they're offered the sweet fruit of the lotus plant. It's so delicious, so intoxicating, that those who eat it forget everything else: their homes, their families, even their desire to continue their journey. They become trapped in a perpetual state of pleasure, unable to move forward. This story is more than just a myth, it's a metaphor for the dangers of overindulgence. It shows how easy it is to become trapped by our desires, losing sight of what truly matters. And it's not just an ancient tale. In our modern world, we see the same pattern playing out every day. People become addicted to food, alcohol, drugs, and even social media. They chase after pleasure, believing it will bring happiness. But instead, they end up feeling empty and lost. Think about it. How many times have you scrolled through social media looking for that next dopamine hit? How often do you find yourself thinking, just one more scroll, or just one more episode? It's like being on a treadmill, constantly running, but never getting anywhere. Each like, comment, or share gives you a momentary high, but then it's gone and you're left wanting more. This is the vicious cycle of modern hedonism. Here's the paradox. The more you chase pleasure, the less you find it. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. The harder you try, the more it slips away. Even the ancient hedonists understood this. Aristippus believed that pleasure, when pursued without wisdom, could lead to pain. Addiction is the perfect example of this paradox. It often starts with something simple, a desire for pleasure. Maybe it's the joy of eating a delicious meal, the thrill of a new experience, or the comfort of escaping from stress. But over time, that desire grows. It becomes a craving, a need. And before you know it, you're no longer in control. The thing that once brought you pleasure now brings you pain. This is why philosophers like Socrates and Plato were so critical of hedonism. They believed that a life dedicated solely to pleasure was ultimately empty. True happiness, they argued, comes from virtue, wisdom, and self-retreat. For them, pleasure wasn't the goal of life, it was a byproduct of living a meaningful and virtuous life. Fast forward to today, and we live in a world that, in many ways, embodies the ideals of hedonism. We're constantly bombarded with advertisements promising happiness if we buy the right products, take the right vacations, or eat the right foods. Social media encourages us to showcase our most pleasurable moments, creating a curated version of our lives that seems full of joy and excitement. But behind the smiles and selfies, many people are struggling. The pursuit of pleasure has left them feeling empty, anxious, and unfulfilled. The more they chase after happiness, the further away it seems. This is the dark side of hedonism that no one talks about, the cycle of constant craving and dissatisfaction. Not all hedonists were reckless in their pursuit of pleasure. In the 3rd century BCE, Epicurus offered a different perspective. Unlike Aristippus, who sought all forms of pleasure, Epicurus made a crucial distinction. Natural desires, such as food, shelter, and friendship, are essential for happiness. Vain desires, like wealth, fame, and power, often bring more trouble than joy. Willie, 15th of March, walks forward from the first-floor hallway, peers into the study. For Epicurus, true happiness came from contentment. He believed in seeking simple pleasures and avoiding unnecessary pain. His philosophy centered around the concept of ataraxia, a state of tranquility and peace. Instead of chasing after fleeting pleasures, Epicurus taught that we should focus on what truly matters. Meaningful relationships, simple joys, and inner peace. So, what can we learn from the hedonists of the past? Is it possible to enjoy life's pleasures without falling into the traps of excess? The answer lies in balance. Pleasure is a natural part of life. It can bring joy and fulfillment, but it must be balanced with responsibility, purpose, and self-awareness. In today's world, where pleasure is just a click away, it's more important than ever to find that balance. Enjoy the good things in life, but don't let them define you. Seek happiness, but not at the cost of your health, relationships, or sense of purpose. True happiness comes not from the endless pursuit of pleasure, but from the contentment that comes from living a meaningful life. Is the pursuit of pleasure worth the risk, or is there a deeper, more fulfilling path to happiness? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've made it this far, comment the word tranquility to let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more philosophical deep dives. Until next time, stay curious and stay balanced.